With our form created, we can now start inserting our input fields. Let's start by entering our form heading, followed by our form labels for the two input fields. In the first row and first column, we'll enter employment application. In the second row and first column, we'll enter the label for the first input field, first name. And in the third row of the first column, last name. With the labels entered, we can now start putting in our fields. The first name field will require a basic text input field. The HTML code for an input field is as follows. It does require a closing tag. The input field also allows different attributes. First, we need to assign a name. This will be important later in the course when we make this script functional and transmit the data to our PHP script. Your name should correspond to the field label. So we'll just abbreviate first name and we'll call it fname. Try to avoid capital letters, special characters in the name, because that will cause complications later on when we attach this form to our PHP script and retrieve the data from these form fields. So just keep the names lowercase and as simple as possible. Next, we can assign a max length attribute to make sure the user cannot type in more than a certain amount of characters. So for example, say most first names wouldn't exceed 50 characters. So that's how we would prevent more than 50 characters from being typed into the input field. And that's it for the first text input. Now let's copy this block of code and paste it into this column for the last name. So we'll change the name to lname. And that's it. Let's go ahead and save the file and make sure that our first two form fields are visible. So that's what that should look like up to this point. We have the form labels, first name and last name. We have the title of the form, employment application, and we have our first two text input fields.